Welcome back, children of grade 8, for our today's English class. Today, in our session, we are going to see the first poem, Unit 1 poem. The title of the poem is The Ant and the Cricket. Let's see about the author first. The author of this poem, The Ant and the Cricket, is Aesop. He was a Greek poet and was a Greek fabulist and a story teller, credited with number of fables now collectively known as Aesop's fables. This is our author, Aesop. Let's see the birth of the author, the poet, Aesop. He was born in the year 1620 BCE and died in the year 564 BCE in Greece. He was native of Greek, and his journal, his writings, all about fables. His notable works are number of fables, now collectively known as Aesop's fables. What is mean by fable? What is a fable? Let's see about it. A fable is a story about animals that has a moral. So in this poem, in our poem, The Ant and the Cricket, it's a animal, it's an insect that conveys a moral. So it is a story like poem. So it is a fable. The introduction of the poem. This is a fable that conveys a moral. This poem is about an ant and a cricket. It contains an idea of far-reaching significance, which is as true of a four-legged cricket as of a two-legged one. The moral behind the poem is: live today but save for tomorrow. In this poem, we are going to see about the small tiny creature are ants, and the next thing, it's a brisk active insect. Here we are going to see the another creature, that is our crickets. It's a active one. These are the insect that the author chose in this poem, The Ant and the Cricket. There he conveys a moral. Let's see the summary of the poem. It is a fable in poetic form. So this poem, The Ant and the Cricket, it is a fable in a poetic form. A fable is a story. As I told you, a fable is a story, often with animals as characters. A fable is a story, often with characters as animals, that conveys a moral too. So children, listen and understand the thing carefully. What is meant by fable? Fable is a story, often with animals as characters, that conveys a moral. It is a fable. So this poem, The Ant and the Cricket, it is a fable in a poetic form. This poem about an ant and a cricket contains an idea of far-reaching significance, which is true of a four-legged cricket as of a two-legged one. You must have seen a cricket that has two legs. This is the story of a cricket who spends his summer singing all around. When the winter came, he started starving. Starving means longing for food, hungry, feeling hungry. He went to aunt and wished to borrow grains, but they asked him what he did in the summer. He replied that he sang in the summer everywhere. They means the aunts asked him to dance in the winter. There are crickets in our society. Some have 4 legs, some have 2 legs. So here the crickets are called as the people of the society. Symbolically, they are representing, personifying the society and the people who are like 4-legged creature, but they are not saving anymore and have 2 legs also. There was a young cricket who used to sing day and night during summers and springs and did not save any food for its winter. This is the summary of the poem. Children, let's watch a video of the story for the poem, The Ant and the Cricket. Watch the story carefully and understand the things easily.
Aesop's The Ant and the Cricket. It's summertime. The sun is hot. Let's go out to play. The weather's nice. The sky is blue. It's a beautiful day. Here's a cricket in the field. He sings and jumps and plays. He sings a song all day long. He loves the summer days. There's an ant. She's very small. She's finding food to eat. She works all summer, all day long.
Mrs. Ant, please stop now. Don't find food today. The summer is long and we can play. Find food another day.
Mr. Cricket, I can't stop now. Winter is coming soon. You must find food, or you'll be hungry from October until June.
Sing a song.
Ant finds food. The cricket plays. And now it is September. The wind is cold. The rain is wet, and soon it is December. It's cold now, cold with snow. The ant is in her home. She's warm and happy. She has food, and she is not alone. It's cold outside. The cricket is hungry. He has no lunch or sweet.
Why did I play all summer long and now I've nothing to eat?
The ant in her house sees the cricket outside and gives him some of the food.
Take that this time, but next year, work hard, Cricket. It's for your own good.
You saved my life. I learnt an important thing. Next summer, I'll work hard and find lots of food. Then, in the winter, we'll sing.
This is what the poem conveys. We have seen in a video. Now, let's see the poem, The Ant and the Cricket. Line by line explanation. As I have told you, this poem is a fable. A fable is a story, often with animals as character, that conveys some moral to you. This poem is about an ant and a cricket, contains an idea of far reaching significance, which is as true of a four-legged cricket as of a two-legged one. Surely you have seen a cricket that has two legs. Let's start the poem from the first stanza. Let's see the line by line explanation of the poem now. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm and sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. The meaning of the word accustomed here is adjusting or adapting, and gay means the second line, gay, the word gay is there. The meaning of the word gay, happy. Let's see the first paragraph, the first stanza's explanation here. There was a young silly cricket. He used to spend all his time in singing in the warm summer and spring months, not realizing. So here the cricket, he is a lazy character. He won't work anymore in the summer, and he won't realize the situation that these months were also meant for work. So all the summer and spring months are also for the work, were meant for singing. So he thought these summer and spring months is for singing, not realizing the way, and not realizing the time he spends there in the summer and spring season. Because with the arrival of winter, finding food become difficult. Yes, of course, in the winter season, you cannot see, the insects cannot get food because it was very cloudy and it was filled with snowfall. Therefore, the summer and spring were meant for storing food also. But the cricket spent all the time in vain, wasting the time during the happy months, and now his cupboard, as it was told in the fourth line, his cupboard was entirely empty in the winter season. Let's see the next stanza. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. Not a flower could he see, not a leaf on the tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? Let's see the explanation of the second stanza. Here, the cricket realizes that the ground was covered with snow. As you have seen the cricket in the video at last, in the video clip, the ground was completely covered with snow. There was not even a crumb. Crumb means a piece to be found. Piece means not even a crumb of food to be found. So all and everywhere it was covered with snow. Nor could he see any flower and any leaf on the trees. He couldn't see any leaves and plants, flowers in the trees also. And there was perpetually nothing to eat. Perpetually means nothing. There is nothing and to eat within the house and outside. So within the house and also outside, there was nothing to eat. There was no food for the cricket. He became desperate Desperate means sad, not knowing what to eat and how to survive. So in the second stanza, the cricket was affected and he couldn't get any food, even a crumb of food found in the ground, and not even inside the house and nor outside. What will become of me? So this was the second stanza. Let's see the third stanza here. At last by starvation. Starvation means without food. Famine, yes, scarcity of food. Starvation means hungry. Hungry, feeling hungry is called starvation. And famine means without any food. No more, nowhere food is available. It is called scarcity of food. Availability of food will be very less. It is called famine. Made bold, all dripping with wet and all the trembling with cold. Away, away he set off to a miserly ant to see if he keep him alive he would grant. Let's see the third stanza and its explanation. So the explanation of the third stanza is the cricket was starving. Starving means hungry due to famine, due to lack of scarcity of food. Lack of food, famine, hunger and no resources. No resources means no food to sustain. To sustain means to survive, means to live. Sustain himself during the cold month of winter. So this was the winter season. So everywhere, no, they couldn't see even a flower in the tree, even a leaf in a tree, but everywhere it is full of scarcity, starvation and famine. So the winter had taken a toll of his health. So it was just taken his health away because there was no food that was stored by the cricket, because he enjoyed the summer season where he wants to save the food, he wants to collect the food, but he played and he enjoyed the time. Here he also had no shelter. So there was no shelter also for the cricket, and he therefore set out to meet his miserly aunt, hoping that the aunt may help him with something that would keep him alive. So here at last the cricket wants to meet the miserly. Miserly means the tiny creature. That the creature is aunt. He was hoping that from the aunt he can get some food and he can survive himself alive. So at last he is moving towards the ant's house where he can get some help. Let's see the fourth stanza here. Him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow. He did repay it tomorrow. So from this stanza, the explanation of the fourth stanza here. The cricket approaches the ant to seek his help for shelter. Shelter means home. For the house, to stay inside, to escape from the cold winter. The rains made it difficult for the cricket to protect himself from the wet surrounding. He also needed some grains for food to combat hunger and starvation. Here he is just getting some food and grains from the aunt to escape himself from the hunger and the starvation. Again, he informed the aunt that whatever help he would take, he would repay it soon. So here the word that what the cricket conveys here to the aunt, here the point it is explained about the cricket's behavior. So whatever you are giving to me, I borrow from you, or that is the grains. Definitely a day tomorrow, soon I will repay it back to you. It soon, else his end had come, he would die of starvation. Definitely I will die in the starvation. This was the explanation of the fourth stanza. Let's see the fifth stanza here. Says the aunt to the cricket, I'm your servant and friend, but we aunts never borrow, we aunts never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricketer, not I. So the explanation of the fifth stanza here it is, the aunt feels sorry. So here the aunt feels sorry for the cricket. Why? Because he doesn't have the us ants, they doesn't have a habit of getting and giving back, that is lending and borrow. So but he tells cricket that the ants never borrow and or lend. So that is the reason he feels sorry for the cricket. Perhaps that is the reason that the ant are self-sufficient. They are already collected their food and they have sufficient of food with them. They have stocked. They have collected so much of grains and for their winter. So they all have sufficient food for them. Need not go begging. So we will not go for the begging. Begging means asking someone for something. The aunt asks the cricket if he didn't. The aunts asks the cricket if he didn't put aside anything in storage for the winter when there is nothing much to be found. So only when you collect food for the summer, in the summer, then in the winter you will be feel happy and you can sit and eat and enjoy your winter time. This was the advice, instruction given by the aunt to the cricket. The cricket answered in the negative. The aunt was quite surprised and shocked. Let's see the sixth stanza. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. I told you already what is meant by gay. Gay means happy. You sang, sir, you say. Go then, says the aunt, and dance the winter away. This was the sixth stanza. Let's see the explanation of the sixth stanza now. The cricket tells the aunt that he was so happy. So now the cricket was so happy during the happy months of summer that he sang day and night. He was so happy and the nature looked so pleasant that he forgot all about the winter. So he forgot about the winter and he enjoyed in the summer months as it is. and all the difficult times. Hearing this, the ant told him that now he should spend the winter singing and dancing too. The aunt tells the cricket that there's no point crying over split milk. So this was the sixth stanza and its explanation. Let's see the seventh stanza now. The last and final stanza of our poem. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. This a fable. I'll warrant it true. Some cricket have 4 legs and some have 2. So let me read the last stanza again. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I'll warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. So let's see the explanation of the last stanza now. Ants gets irritated and asks the cricket to leave. Thus who do not wish to help themselves cannot be saved by others. The poet final couplet of the poem tells his reader that though this tale is believed to be a fable, it is no else than truth. So it's a truth. So ants are the active and brisk insect in the world. We already know. So poet called this the true because what is true for the 4-legged cricket and also true for the 2-legged humans. So here 4-legged creature is the cricket and 2 legs. Who have 2 legs? Only the humans. Humans and the cricket and the ant. Everything is compared here and the conclusion was given as it is. So this was the poem and adapted from the Aesop's fables. This was the message that was conveyed by the author Aesop's. What is the message here? See, go through it. When we are young, we must spend our time working and planning for the future as our aunt did. So we must, when you are young, we must spend our time working and planning for the future. The cricket enjoyed the sunny moments, that is the summer. The cricket enjoyed the sunny moments of the summer and spring and did not think of the cold and the difficult moment of winter. But the ant was occupied all through the summer and spring for collecting the food for the winter and storing it for the future. So this was the story and the message was conveyed by the author. The moral of the story is here. The cricket, wet in the rain and shivering with cold, went to the aunt and begged for something to eat. So who is begging there? The cricket is begging there to the aunt, and he promised to repay the next day. So he is here the moral he conveyed and the good quality of the grasshopper, that is the cricket. he promising that it was repaid by the next day. And the second point, the aunt said, we aunts never borrow nor lend. So this was the important thing we have to look here. So ants never have a habit of borrowing and lending. She questioned the cricket why he never bothered to save something for the winter. And the third point, the silly cricket said he enjoyed the spring and summer by singing merrily through and through. So he enjoyed the summer, not bother about the winter season and for about collecting the food. And the aunt bluntly told him, go and dance through the winter. This was the moral that was conveyed in this poem. Yes, let's see the literary devices from the poem, The Aunt and the Cricket. Before moving on to the literary devices, let's know about what is meant by rhyming scheme. Rhyming scheme is the rhyming pattern that is created at the end of lines of poetry. So here you have one example for the rhyming scheme, children. So look at the poetry lines here. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece as wide as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamp was sure to go. So children, look at the lines carefully. In the first line, last word. See to the last word of the first line. What was the word it is? Lamp. Lamp. Then look at the second line. Look at the last word. What was the word? It is snow. Snow. Okay. Look at the third line. What was the word? Last word, went. Look at the fourth line. Last word. What was the word, children? Go. Okay. So first line, last word, lamb. Second line, last word, snow. Third line, last word, went. Fourth line, last word, go. So, which are the words pronounced and ends with same sound? Snow, go. So, listen carefully and understand the thing carefully, children. Snow, go. Is it ends same? Yes. So, it pronounced and ends with the same sound. O sound. Snow, go. So, it rhymes same. So, it should be given with same letter. For lamb, for the first line, last word lamb, is there any other rhyming word over there? No. So, rhyming scheme always seen to be the last word of each poetry lines. If the words rhyme same and ends with the same sound, then we have to give the same letter. So first line, last word lamb, there is no rhyming word for that. So for the first line we are giving letter A. For the second line, snow, we are giving letter B. For the third line, went, last word is went. Is there any other rhyming word? No. So we are giving C, letter C. Look at the last line, the word ends with go. So the line ends with the word go. So snow, go. So it has same rhyming sounds, rhyming sounds. So it rhymes each other. So we need to give the letter B. So the rhyming scheme of these four lines is A, B, C, B. So this is what rhyming scheme, children. This is the way you have to find out the rhyming scheme from the poetry lines. If suppose in the poem does not have a rhyming scheme, then it is considered to be a free verse poem. So here in this poem, Mary had a little lamb, we have rhyming scheme. But in some other poems, there won't be any rhyming scheme. Then that poems are considered as free verse poems, children. So if it is with rhyming scheme, we can use rhyming scheme. We can make some rhyming scheme. If there is no rhyming scheme, then that poems are called as, those poems are called as free verse poem. So without rhyming scheme, it is known as free verse poem. Okay, children? Do you understand it? Yes. Now can you find out the rhyming scheme for this poem? For our poem, The Ant and the Cricket? Yes. Let's move on and find out the rhyming scheme for the first stanza of the poem, The Ant and the Cricket. Let's see the rhyming scheme of the poem. The first thing in the rhyming scheme, we have to see to the last word of each line. See here, sing, spring. So these two are the rhyming words. So the rhyming scheme is ye. Then home, come. So the rhyming scheme is bb. The next last word, found, ground. So the rhyming scheme is abcc. The last rhyming scheme, see, tree, me. So the total rhyming scheme of the poem is a b b c c d d d. So this was the rhyming scheme of the poem, The Ant and the Cricket. Next we are going to see the next literary device, that is personification. What is personification? First let's know about it. Personification is giving human traits, that means human qualities, feelings, actions or characteristics to non-living or things or objects, like things, colors, qualities or ideas. I'll repeat. Personification is giving human traits, human qualities, feelings, actions or characteristics to non-living things or objects. That is known as personification, children. Look at the example given here. The window winkled at me. Here, the window is a thing. It is an object. It is given the human quality and they told that it winkled at me. Winkled means blink it eyes. Blinking the eyes. It is known as winkle. So here the window winkled at me. That means blinked its eyes. So it has given human quality, that is action. So how a window can blink? No, it is not possible. But here they have used the literary device personification. So they have used the word winkled for the thing window. So here in this poem we have seen cricket and ant. So ant and cricket are looking like a character as human being, is personified as human being. So in this poem, cricket and ant, the creatures that was personified in this poem completely from the first line to the last line. So personification means when a human characters are given to the animals or non-living things, it is called personification. The ant and the cricket is personified as human, as they are talking, thinking like humans. So here the ant is talking to the cricket as human and the cricket giving some reply to the ant. So it is the characterization of these creatures as human is mentioned here. So it is called personification. Let's move on to the next literary device. The first literary device that we have seen is personification, and the next one is alliteration. What is meant by alliteration?
The repetition of the same first letter in a word or sound in a sentence. That is known as alliteration, children. Alliteration. The repetition of the same first letter in a word or sound in a sentence. That is known as alliteration, children. Look at the example here. While I nodded, nearly napping. So look at the word nodded, nearly napping. All the three words continuously started with the same letter N in the same sentence. So this is known as alliteration, children. Repetition of same first letter or sound in a sentence, that is known as alliteration.
Children, let's find out the literary device alliteration from the poetry lines, The Ant and the Cricket. Here you can see the alliteration when, weather, was, warm. So you can see the consonant letter that repeats again and again in the same line. So W is the first letter, consonant letter, and when, the second word is weather, third word is was and warm. So these things, this is called alliteration. Repeating of a same sound again and again in a same line is called alliteration. Let's see the next literary device, that is anaphora. What is meant by anaphora? Look at the explanation here. Anaphora is the repetition of word or phrases at the beginning of the consecutive lines, sentences, phrases or paragraphs. That is known as anaphora, children. What is meant by anaphora, children? Anaphora is the repetition of words or phrases at the beginning of consecutive lines. That means in the repeated in the next lines, sentences, phrases or paragraphs. That is known as anaphora, children. Let's see example. You can understand it easily. Look at the poetry line here. It is an example for anaphora, children. In every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear. London, William Blake. It is the name of the author. Look at the consecutive lines. In the first line, the line was started with I letter. In the second line also, the letter and the word started with I. So, in the next lines, consecutive lines, we can see the word in. In the first line also, the sentence started with the word in, and in the second line also, the sentence started with the word in. So, this is known as anaphora, children. So, anaphora means repetition of word or phrases at the beginning of the consecutive lines. That is known as anaphora, children. Let's see from the poetry lines. Anaphora means, here you can see he. So same word as a first word, it was repeating again and again in the second consecutive lines. So it is called anaphora. He wished only to borrow. He did reply it tomorrow. So both here also you can see he. So anaphora means repeating of a same word in the beginning of the sentence is called anaphora. So, these are the literary device of the poem from the poem. First one is personification, first literary device, and the second one is alliteration, and the third one is anaphora. So these are the three literary devices that was given in the poem.
Children, that's all from the poem. Poem 1. The title of the poem is The Ant and the Cricket. In this session, we have discussed and learned about the author of the poem and the explanation of the poetry lines and rhyming scheme along with the literary devices. Moving on to the assignment area, children, learn the question answers thoroughly, read the poetry lines and find out the literary devices which we have learned today. Write the question answers neatly in the classwork, and in the live session on Monday 6:15 to 6:45 I will be asking questions from the poem The Ant and the Cricket.